Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Marketing Moms podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about working from your vision, not toward it. Balancing building a successful business and being a superstar mom is hard. And yet, in today's digital world, it's more common than ever.
The question becomes, how do we successfully grow a business and children at the same time?
Join us for a candid conversation as we share our insights into marketing and motherhood. I'm Angela Reeder.
And I'm Jessie Valle. Welcome to the Marketing Moms podcast.
All right, so moving from your vision, not toward it. Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's a bit backwards from, I think, the way we have always heard.
Right. Usually it's pick a goal and then move towards that goal by taking baby steps. And recently I was in Boise for the recording of the Get Your Revenge Body Challenge, which we'll link to in the show notes below. And it was really interesting because the host of the challenge kept talking about how you really need to start moving from your vision, not toward it. And it was like this huge thing that she really hit on. And she was talking about how you don't live your circumstances, right? So
Right.
this specific issue or challenge was all about it wasn't just about weight loss, it was living a healthier lifestyle, right? So her whole thing was about like, if you want to be healthy, you don't just start like moving, like you start now. Like
Right.
you say, I am now healthy. I am going to start doing the things that healthy people do. And it got me thinking about like back when we read the book Anti-Time Management by Richie Norton. I feel like there was a lot of quotes kind of similar about that as well. Let me pull up that quote really quick. I want versus I am is a choice, not a destination.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember thinking about that a lot at the time, that he put a lot of emphasis on basically building your business in the way that you wanted it to be at the end, not on the way.
Right. And it's not even about your business. To me, it's also about who you are as a human being.
Right.
Like recently I picked up watercolor painting as like a hobby, just like a stress reliever. It's something kind of fun and new that I can learn. I love learning. So it's like this new thing that I'm trying to learn. Um, and instead of it just being that hobby and dabbling and I'm really bad at it, I really should just say, I'm a watercolor artist. Like I paint watercolors. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just because they stink doesn't mean that weren't they weren't painted. I mean, I'm more of a
Right.
watercolor artist than the next person who doesn't do it at all.
I would say probably better than me.
Only because the Instagram reels I watch are so good tutorials. But yeah, like it's all about saying you are something. For I especially in business, I see people who are like, "Well, I'm trying to be, a web developer."
Hmm.
No, you
I
are.
was just thinking that.
Even if you don't know all the things, you're never going to know all the things. You are a web developer. It was like when I was learning Spanish, I had a hard time telling people that I spoke Spanish because I didn't know it all. To this day, I
Right.
don't know it all. But then again, I turn around and I look, and I'm like, okay, Angela, do you know every single word in the English language?
Absolutely not.
And would you say you speak English?
Yes,
Yes,
and I
you
know a lot
would.
of words,
So that's the
but
thing. It's like
not anywhere close to all of them.
exactly, you don't have to know all of something to claim that you know it or you know how to do it or you are it. So it really just like hit me home recently about thinking about like who I want to be and just forgetting my past mistakes or the future mistakes I'm going to make and just try to be that person now.
Right. And we've talked, I know, about this idea of especially women like to kind of soft pedal that they own businesses.
Mhm.
And, we've said before, like, if you are making money, you own a business. Like,
Mhm.
period, the end. You can tell people, I own a business. And this is, I feel like, a lot like that, where it may not be your dream business yet. It may not be making your dream income yet. It may not be, you know, fulfilling everything you need it to fulfill yet, but it's there. It exists. You own it. You own a business.
Mhm. Yeah, it doesn't diminish the fact that you're a business owner just because it's
Yeah.
not doing, as well as you'd like.
Yeah.
Angela and I have been doing this podcast for over 2 years now.
Mhm.
And just because we don't have the same amount of listeners as, oh, what's his name? What's that guy who has a ton of listeners?
Oh my, there are so many of
There are
them.
so many. Well, anyway, just because we don't have as many listeners as that guy doesn't
Yeah.
mean we're not just as equally podcast hosts.
Yeah.
Uh, Gosh, who? Okay, I'm not going to be able to stop without thinking of that guy. He's the one that did like the MMA stuff, or no, the UFC stuff. And
Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan. Yeah,
Yes.
just because we don't have as many listens as him, doesn't mean we're any less of podcast hosts.
Right. Yes, exactly. That's what we need, Jesse. We need to go get on Joe Rogan's podcast. And then
Yeah.
we can have all the listeners.
Yeah. There we go. If you're listening right now and you have a podcast, Angela and I would like to come be
We
guests.
would love to be on
Hit
it.
us up. And if you would like to be on our podcast, hit us up as well. We would love to
Yes.
have you. The more the merrier.
Having Kara on was so fun.
I know. I'm finding that these interviews we're doing with other people, like I still really enjoy the fact that our podcast is mostly just you and me. But occasionally when we bring on guests, all the guests we've had in the past, like Sarah Morrison and yeah, like Kara last week, and then all the snippets we've gotten from other people. I just really feel like it's been so much fun to talk about the things we're passionate about with other people as well.
Yeah,
We're so
for
off
sure.
track right now.
We are. Okay, so working working from your vision, not
Uh,
toward it. So,
I
and
Yeah, go for it.
what I was to say, I think when people do think about it, it's a little bit like that. What was it they used to say when we were kids? Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. It's a little bit like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, yeah. To me, it's a way of like not shying away from what you want and like truly embracing it. It's like, okay, so I was scrolling Instagram a lot this weekend, and uh this old video from Tony Robbins popped up, and it said something like, and he was talking about like, the saying that if you want to take over an island, burn the boats.
Yeah,
Because it's like, as long as you have those boats behind you, as long as you have that easy getaway, you're going to take it. But the
yeah,
moment you burn the boats and like all you have left is to take over the island, you're going to do it.
yeah,
So that's kind of like when I was starting my business and when I was quitting my 9 to 5, and I was very scared about it. And I was scared to make that leap because I didn't have a backup plan. Guess
right.
what? The fact that I didn't have a backup plan pushed me to be successful. I had no choice but to be successful. My entire family and future depended on it.
Yeah,
But I've heard so many people like, well, if it doesn't work out, we could do XYZ. And guess what? They end up doing that because their whole heart's not in it.
yeah. I think at some point you have to take a leap and
Mhm.
really just I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
So, I my oldest was talking about that when I first started my business. She was asking about, how my husband had reacted to me telling him I was going to do this. And I said, well, he said, if that's what you want to do, go do it. Why are you talking about it? Go on, go. like,
Oh.
um, so, so yeah. And he's said before too that like once I got started, he could see the difference in the business I have now versus the other things I had done, that I was
Mhm.
really like, I was in it. This is what I was doing.
Mhm.
And a lot of it was that there was no other option. There was no, well, I could always do XYZ. It was like, it's this or nothing. like,
Yeah. Another thing I think really helps that you kind of just brought up is having a support system. So,
hmm
whether it's your spouse or a friend or someone new you meet online, having someone supportive is really important. It's really great when you can find someone doing or being what you want to do, right? Like when I
Right.
first started my business, I got together with another freelancer who I met, and she kind of taught me her ways and how she did it and
hmm
gave me the confidence to say, "Oh, you've got this. You can
Yeah.
do this." Or that one time when I was trying to eat low carb, and a friend of mine who only eats low carb literally took me grocery shopping and
Yes.
like showed me, instead of this, pick up this. And like she actually like spent an hour in the grocery store with me going through things. Having those friends, having those mentors, having those communications, the people support is really important. So if you're
Yeah.
not finding it from your spouse or someone in the home, you have to find it somewhere else, because there's strength in someone telling, like being supportive to tell you you can do this and help, knowing that they're in your corner. I mean, you can do
Right.
it alone, but it's so much easier when you don't.
It's so much easier with help. And I thought that was interesting too when we did our interview with Karen. She mentioned having her biz besties to help support her and keep her kind of on track, because that's something that we've talked about a lot, having somebody that understands like the business side of it to help support you. Like my husband is amazing. He is awesome. He's super supportive, but he doesn't understand the business side of it because he's not in that business. Just like I don't understand the business side of what he does because I'm not in that business.
Right.
And so having someone like Jessie that does understand, dealing with clients and the different things that we do can be really, really helpful to have someone to support you and say, no, remember, this was your goal. This is what you're working, this is where we're going. This is what we're trying to be.
Yeah. Or that time Angela came to me and was like, I feel like I'm going to stop doing most all the things I do and just focus on Shopify, but I'm scared. And me being
Yeah.
like, you've got this. There's plenty of business. There's plenty of people who want Shopify help. You can do this.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
find
And
those
that's
people.
what I needed.
Yeah. Would I ever steer you wrong?
Never, not once in however what 8 years.
Yeah. Okay. So, our challenge for you this week is to really think about, I mean, what are you doing in your life right now? Like, are you happy with the way it is right now? Which is a hard question to ask yourself, because
Yeah.
typically there's something in our lives we feel like could be better. And I want you to think about what you would do to change it, and then just decide. You just have to decide, this is what I'm going to do, this is who I'm going to be, and
hmm
start moving from that point.
Yeah.
I am a business owner, so I'm going to act like it.
Yeah. I am a healthy person, so I'm going to make healthy choices.
hmm It, I'm just like, all these things are swimming in my head about like what it could be and what you can do, and
yeah.
but you have to answer it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
But just know
Definitely.
that we are here for you.
Yes. If you want some support, if you need to say it out loud to somebody, I am a whatever. Feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or join us in Marketing Moms Monthly, where we can chat on Discord and help support you.
Yeah. And you get your first month free. So you can just head over to marketingmomsmonthly.com and come join us. We would definitely welcome you with open arms. I feel like I cut you off. Was there something else you wanted to say, Angela?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, we will chat with you next week then. Bye, all.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. We're so honored this is where you chose to spend your time.
If this episode helped you in some way, please share it with another mom who needs to hear it. We're in this together.
And if you're ready for next steps, free goodies, and more, head over to marketingmomspodcast.com.
We'll see you next week.